Good afternoon. Getting an earlier start today because in my last video about pineality, I started it with about an hour to go till 4:20, and I said that in the beginning of the video. And then I proceeded to record the video, got done recording, looked up at the clock, 4:26. Because apparently my 4:20 alarm doesn't go off when I'm recording. So getting an earlier start today. But I'm not going to let that hold me back from a good blinker to get us going. These carts from Modern Herb, fantastic. They're a little earthy in flavor, but that's just how Modern Herb is. But great little devices, and I like them. But anyway, I found a new channel yesterday. This dude is aligned. He's speaking exactly. You can just tell when someone's awakened and aligned with mind, body, soul kind of thing. So great channel. It's would you believe I had the name of it? I even researched it, looked it up, and in preparation for this, and of course I don't think of it. It is The Way Forward. I didn't look it up, by the way. This is from memory. The Way Forward with Alec. Now I will have to look it up because I don't remember his name. Alec. It rhymes with Eck. It's like Alec Peck or something. Alec. Where is Alec? What the hell are we doing here? Okay. I'll cut this out, by the way. Zeck. See, I told you it rhymed with Alec. Alec Zeck. Okay. So, found his channel yesterday. I was introduced to two doctors yesterday. Profound doctors. I just found the whole thing fascinating. I poured so much time into listening to his podcasts that he's referenced through, you know, like just, it was a progression. I spent the whole day on The Way Forward, and I'm still digesting it. Like, I'm not even sure if I even processed most of what was said. But the two doctors, Dr. Diane Powell, she's a Johns Hopkins neuropsychiatrist. And what she's doing is she's researching and studying, kind of raising awareness, as well as proving, as well as kind of not debunking, but in a way debunking the connection between autism and telepathy. And she's doing it in ways that can be proven and repeated. So there's no question. She had brought in skeptics. She did these various tests, and the kids could literally read people's thoughts. They could see without their eyes. They had intuition. Like, okay, that's Diane Powell. Then later on, he did another. I mean, this guy's just on fire with his. I recommend you check out his channel. But then I saw another one on Dr. Edith Chan. She is developing this ability in kids who didn't already. Like, a lot of the kids that Diane Powell is working with have already developed it and reached out to Diane to prove, I guess, essentially, that yes, this is happening. I have a direct connection to my mom or something. Like, I can read her thoughts, all of her thoughts, like, you know, those kind of things. But now what Edith Chan is doing, Dr. Chan, is taking kids who are neurodivergent and then training them to be able to use their ability to see without their eyes. Two incredible fields of research and study on this largely misunderstood social, I wish I even had a word for it. I don't know what to call autism anymore. I'm not even at a place where I should speak to what we should call it, because society doesn't understand it. Society, you know, it's different. It's boogeyman. It push it away. It's undesirable, you know. But these are powers beyond the simple level of humanness that society reveres so highly in being normal. Having these powers just goes beyond the realm of limits to, I guess, where society would push out someone who doesn't look like them or act like them or anything. But now this just adds a whole another level to what we value in society and what is attractive now, and what I guess is not necessarily acceptable behavior, but in a sense, it just changes the way that these people are going to be interacting with society moving forward. The normies are going to start finding uses for these extremely gifted individuals. And when there's a desire and a value to something, then the rest of the malformations sort of fall off, in a sense. It gets forgiven, is more accurate. And so we'll see more of an acceptance and more of maybe even an encouragement to an extent of these abilities. But two amazing doctors working with these kids, and actually adults too, speaking and non-speaking, to find out what they've unlocked by themselves just by accident. And also Dr. Edith Chan with trying to develop that in just anyone that might be neurodivergent. How neurodivergent are you? I think in some cases the younger the better. The younger you start, the better, and develop this thing. But these kids are seeing things without their eyes, seeing things behind, you know, in folders, in envelopes, in like under tables, behind their head, blindfolded. You know, they're playing catch blindfolded. They just like demonstrated this at a major thing. So I'm sure if you're not hearing it from me, you'll be hearing about it eventually through our mass media programming. But very interesting. I'm still just so fascinated by this whole prospect because of what this means about our minds and our abilities, not just the internal stuff, but that we can communicate without our normal means of communication, without our usual, even body language is completely foreign to, I don't know, 50% of us. It might even be more. I don't know. That's just a guess. But a lot of people don't understand body language exactly. You know, like they're a lot of people aren't conscious of body language. And that's something that's just inherent in us. Like it's a, you know, we were born, well, sort of, with it. And so our spoken language it's like on top of our body language. So our body language is like core fundamental. What do they say? Like it's over half of our communication is actually in physical communication, body language. And then the rest is verbal, spoken. Now that's two of them. But this is revealing a third. This is revealing an electromagnetic connection, which is also being revealed right now by science. Another one of the many deep dives I've been doing lately is the electromagnetic field generated by your heart, and also the one that's generated by your pineal gland when that gets resonating. And that can, independent of time and space, communicate with another being. This is huge. There's this, so Alec talks about the telepathy tapes a lot. He brings them up, references them. That's another fascinating podcast with Kai something. I can't remember her last name, but the telepathy tapes there's no visual proof to those. It's a lot of audio, but I mean they're profound in the message that they portray. But there was one other, I don't think she was a doctor. Her name was Dita. She was a Danish. She's in Denmark, and I was not prepared to talk about Dita, but she was the third person that I was introduced to yesterday. And I'm gonna have her name on there. So she also has a son who is telepathic with her, and she's working on developing the talent in others. That's pretty huge. That's just on the communication front. But what they're talking about is that this sort of points to us all having this ability, and that it's stronger when we're kids, but it goes away because of our programming, the things we tell ourselves, our beliefs. If there's kids who are able to do it well, and I'm talking playing catch blindfolded with another kid, and then gets discouraged by an adult or something, the adult says something that suggests maybe he's cheating or he doesn't really have this ability or something. The kid he couldn't for like almost a month. They had to work with the kid to get him back into belief and believing. So beliefs are huge, and programming is huge. Just picture the programming and the limiting beliefs, if you even can, in your own life. What you've discovered already was I don't need to believe that. My mom might have thought that, or my dad might have thought that way, but that's not really how the world is. those things you learn about the world through being your own person. And when you kill those limiting beliefs that were implanted in you maybe early on, maybe your family feels a certain way but you don't, and they don't see the truth that you see, and they would prefer that you just keep believing what they believe. It's a limiting belief. So that holds people back. So by the time you get into teenage years, it's all but shut off. It's like the this is kind of funny, but it goes back to the Peter Pan thing, right? Like, the kid didn't want to grow, or what was it? Wendy didn't want to grow up. It was something like that. But same thing, you reach a certain age and you leave that magical land of childhood where everything is possible. And I just remember being so big in my structure, but things outside of me being also so much bigger than they are now. But I remember being so much bigger inside of my own structure when I was a kid than when I am now. Call it the limiting beliefs, but it's like you feel so empowered as a kid, and then just over time your little empowerment orb gets, and just think of that. Think of how invincible you felt as a kid, and compared to your understanding of how things actually are, could even be a limiting belief because you haven't been proven, or you haven't proven yourself otherwise yet. So keep working on it, I guess. But it really is what we tell ourselves is ultimately what defines our reality. And these tremendous doctors, these awesome channels that I'm finding, these inspiring stories are just proving that we have this power. It's actually proving it now. It's not just being talked about. It's not just being denied by other people. Like, you hear things like this, and of course there's going to be skepticism, but there's forces out there that don't want this information getting out. They don't want us to know of our unique abilities like this. With proof, though, you can move beyond denial at that point when it is irrefutable that this is actually taking place. We move out of that dismissibility. And that was the biggest thing for me, is that I can't go on purporting these things if someone can just come up and say, well, that's not proven, that's fringe science, that's nothing, you got nothing to stand on then at that point. Because if you can't prove it, okay, I want to say this because I feel that it is fact, but I don't know 100%, and I'm not about to go back and verify it, so I'm just going to say it, that through both podcasts with both doctors, they both mentioned, and I think Dr. Powell was the one to kind of uncover it first. She had heard one of her kids mention the hill. Oh, I'm going to the hill to talk to my friends. And Dr. Powell's like, what the hill? What is this? Oh, it's just some place she goes telepathically to connect with other telepathic autists. So Dr. Powell goes, oh, okay. Goes to another part of the world. Hasn't released her documentary footage yet. Doesn't know, talks to another autist. Has a different story, different everything. The two don't know each other. Different parts of the world. Also mentions the hill. Dr. Powell's like, what the fuck? This is an actual place. Like, these kids throughout the world are discovering how to go there and talk to other kids like them and talk about issues with the world and talk about problems with autism and talk about, like, understand each other, feel each other, speak with emotions with each other telepathically. That finding out about the hill was absolutely incredible and inspiring for me. Just understanding that these kids were so misunderstood by society and their own parents forever. And they had nowhere to go. Like, no, a lot of them couldn't talk. A lot of them couldn't describe the amount of terror that was going on inside their world, the anxiety and the not being able to stimulate emotions. So I feel like they finally have a voice now, which is incredible. And they have the hill, which is, okay, so what I didn't want to say before is that both doctors, Powell and Chan, mentioned the hill, which I can't really confirm, but I know it's a Powell for sure. Because she even said that after she saw the first couple cases of geographically separated, totally separated autistic kids who wouldn't have been able to otherwise find out about this new thing called the hill. Not that there's like some kind of I don't know, maybe there is some sort of an autism forum out there where they mention this telepathic thing called I don't know, it's a possibility. But at the time, Diane's research hadn't been released yet on this telepathic thing that she was uncovering. So at the time, it was reasonable to suspect that the hill was not even knowledge on the internet, or maybe it was very localized knowledge, or it could have been, but it actually wasn't, because of this telepathic communication. Everyone knew about it, but yet never spoke of it until Diane uncovered it. I think that's absolutely incredible and good for them. I've heard of other people who perceive telepathic abilities who have been interested in reaching the hill. And I think it was actually Dita. Dita actually looked a little defensive when asked about reaching the... Oh, it was Dita too. So, okay, it might have even been Dr. Powell, Dr. Chan, and Dita all talking about the hill, potentially. But, regardless, Dita seemed a little bit defensive when talked about like an outsider going to the hill, a non-neurodivergent. I forget, she might even have a name for him. With the abilities, but not being, like them. Where, the communication even is going to be a lot different, because autists communicate a lot in emotions and feelings. And so the language is going to be totally different to someone who might not perceive emotion in the same way as someone who is neurodivergent. So almost a little bit defensive, but really kind of said, but why though? Because you can talk. This is a place for people who can't talk, basically, so that they can communicate to each other, and that way they have more of a community. So you can talk. You can go on any chat room you want. This is their chat room. Just let them have, that was her message, but it sounded kind of cold at the same time. Like, you kind of want to talk to these people, like people who can't speak, but you have a way of communicating with them. Wouldn't that be desirable? Not just, oh, that's just for them, leave them to have their thing. I don't know. I understand giving them their privacy and respect and stuff. Like, absolutely, they should totally have their own locked place or whatever. They said it's guarded by like light beings, and a lot of autistic could see light beings, and there's just so much about autism that's been misunderstood, and by society at large, but more and more is being understood because we're able to connect to these ones who can't speak. We're listening to what they say, and so that's I'm kind of curious, to see what you think of that. What are some potential applications in the world where this could really benefit us? This could lead to innovations, or change the way of doing things, or change the structure of things, because we know so many structures right now are incoherent. We need to find a way to make them more coherent for everyone, and supportive, and a thriving thing for everyone, and not just the select few. Too many systems favor select fews too often, or favoring selection in general. But I believe that a lot of this can open some of these doors. And so if you have any ideas for, how could this change our world? I think it is world-changing discoveries that they're making, potentials within us, teaching kids how to be able to do this at a young age, and then as long as they don't lose that through programming, be able to continue to do that throughout their life, reading each other's thoughts, feelings, being able to see what's in a cabinet drawer. This is huge, and it's been proven. So I'll drop the links to those podcasts, and they mention events, public events, where this has been proven in public and had, a huge not an awakening, but an awareness of this thing. So I'm excited to see where it's gonna go, and let me know what you think. But until next time, never stop spreading your light.